Edo Guba election, Akpata expresses concern over poor network marring ongoing CVR. Oh boy. So the ongoing continuous voter registration in Edo State is now being negatively affected by poor network. So how are they going to complete this registration? Because it is all over Edo State, not just Benin alone. So if network can be bad in Benin, I wonder what will happen in remote villages of Edo State where there may not be network at all. So now the Labour Party governorship candidate Olumide Akpata has now come out to cry out, to complain. And now that Labour has started indefinite strike in the midst of the continuous voter registration exercise, how will everything work now? I just hope that they resolve the issues fast. But Olumide Akpata is complaining because at the end of the day, we are going to see what happened in Imo and the Kogi happening in Ondo and Edo State. And Edo State, where the number of votes calculated will be more than the number of accredited voters or registered voters in the state. Sometimes you wonder where they get the extra numbers. So now that Olumide Akpata is crying out early enough, I think it is time for the Inec authorities, both at federal and state level, to look into what is happening and fix it as fast as possible. But again, let's dive into the details to hear more from Olumide Akpata, the Labour Party governorship candidate in Benin, in Edo State. Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata, the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in the September 21 Edo State governorship election, has expressed concern over the poor network, which has continued to mar the smooth process of the continuous voter registration that is going on in the state, especially in Benin City, the state capital. So Akpata also pledged to establish health centers and technological hubs in the 192 wards in the state to meet the health needs of the people, as well as enable the teeming youth population to be healthy and productively engaged. So according to Akpata, who made the pledge at the maiden edition of New Media Summit held in Benin City at the weekend, I wish to express my concern over the poor network, which has continued to mar the smooth process of the continuous voter registration exercise in the state, especially in Benin City, the state capital. That was serious. So that if Benin, of all places, is affected, then I wonder how that thing is going to move on. It means that it's going to be a big challenge. And meanwhile, this is challenging. So speaking on the news media movement, the Labour Party governorship candidate who lauded organizers of Edo New Media Summit said, I believe in the new media movement because of the seeming inability of those in government to understand that it is their responsibility to create outlets through which the passion and the energy of the youth can actually be channeled. I don't think they understand how important it is. It is their responsibility to look for every opportunity to channel that energy in a positive direction. Exactly. The youths are so energetic and now that they are not fully engaged, they are not properly engaged in the productivity of the nation, then they are going to channel that energy to something else. It will take a visionary leader, a committed leader, okay, to shine eyes and see exactly what is happening and create ways to productively channel the energy of the present-day youth, not just in Edo State, but across the country. So, but now that Olumide Akpata is complaining of this network issue that is continuously marring the continuous voter registration in Edo State, what is going to happen? I remember there was flood in Edo State during this rainy season, and we are still in the rainy season, and the Edo State Inec office was destroyed, flooded, equipment destroyed. And then the National Inec chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, had to travel to Edo State to see what is happening. And while he was there, he made a lot of lofty promises that the election in Edo State will not be postponed. They will do everything to make sure that election is conducted. And for the flooding that took place, any material that is destroyed, they will go to neighboring states like Delta and Anambra and other states to go and collect those things and use, after which they will return them. But election will not be postponed for any reason. Now we are talking about even ordinary registration, continental voter registration is becoming a challenge. How can we relate this to Inec? Because the same way Inec promised to conduct free and fair election in 2023, only for him to mar it in the name of what they call it, in the name of a problem in the IRF portal. And there was a glitch in the IRF portal. All that things did not work. Now he went to those states and made promises just a few days after making promises of proper election to be conducted. Now the Labour Party governorship candidate Akpata is complaining of irregularities in the continuous voter registration exercise that is currently ongoing. So how can we manage all of that? And how can we relate all of that to Mahmoud Yakubu's travel to Benin in recent times to promise that there will be free and fair election? So if in continuous voter registration alone, we are seeing that network is affecting it, what about in the distribution of the voters card? And what about when the actual election starts and the BVR machines, okay? The is it BVR or whatever, okay, machines are going to be used. So those ones will also not see network, because that was what happened during the general election, that the machines did not connect to the internet when it was time to start counting vote. So if at voters registration they're already having this problem, what is going to happen at the election time when the election eventually starts? That's a big question they need to answer. Okay, it's a big question they need to answer. How can we run a system year in, year out, nothing works? The same way they finished that 2023 election, everything was in shambles, and the Mahmoud Yakubu could not tell Nigerians whether they have evaluated the Inec performance and what are the lessons learned, what are the good areas they need to sustain, and what are the bad areas that requires improvement. No performance evaluation of the system and the processes at all. So no lessons learned in the last election. That is what it means. Because why would network be a problem now? Why didn't we envisage it to be sure that you put everything in place to allow that to happen? Or are they going to tell us that Inec portal or Inec database in Abuja, where everything is domiciled, is not working again? Wow. I'm telling you, it's a serious matter. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.